This is Kenya News Update today. What if I told you a man in Isiolo is facing a choice between paying more than 2 million shillings or spending 6 years in prison, all for growing a plant? This is the story of John Burugu and the massive fine that's sparking a huge debate. Coming up, you'll discover the exact weight of the plants, their street value, and why this case is a major test of Kenya's drug laws. Meet John Burugu, a man from the Kulamawe area of Isiolo County. His life changed forever during an intelligence-led operation. According to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, he was found cultivating cannabis. But here's the twist. This isn't just a small-time operation. The prosecution presented what they called cogent and consistent evidence. State Counsel Justice Mugambi led the case, arguing that Mburugu's actions violated the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act. The court heard the details. And then, something shocking happened. The evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Mburugu was unlawfully cultivating the plants. But here's what nobody's talking about: the sheer scale. During that operation, authorities recovered 24.8 kilograms of cannabis plants. That's a massive amount. The ODPP stated those plants had an estimated street value of approximately 744,000 Kenyan shillings. That's 750,000 shillings worth of plants. And then the verdict came: guilty. The Isiolo law courts returned a guilty verdict for cultivating cannabis contrary to Section 6 of the Act, and the penalty, it was the statutory maximum. The judge imposed a fine of 2.2 million Kenyan shillings. But here's the part that will blow your mind. If he can't pay that enormous sum, he must serve 6 years in prison instead. That's the default sentence. 6 years behind bars. The ODPP says this outcome underscores their resolve to combat narcotics. They say it protects communities from harmful illicit drugs. By pursuing such cases, they demonstrate a firm commitment to upholding the rule of law. But this raises a huge question. Is a 2.2 million shilling fine or a 6-year prison sentence proportional for cultivating plants? Some say it's a necessary deterrent. Others see it as an excessively harsh punishment that could ruin a man's life. The tension is real. On one side, the government's crackdown. On the other, a man facing a devastating financial or personal penalty. The implications are huge for drug policy in Kenya. This case isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a broader national conversation about crime, punishment, and rehabilitation. The controversy is clear. Is this justice, or is it an overreach? The ODPP calls it diligence and professionalism. But what do you think? Does a 2.2 million shilling fine fit the crime of cultivation? The plants were valued at 744,000 shillings. The fine is nearly 3 times that amount. That's a staggering multiplier. And if he can't pay, 6 years of his life are gone. That's the stark choice John Burugu now faces: pay an impossible sum or lose 6 years. This is the reality of Kenya's war on drugs in one Isiolo courtroom. So what's the bigger picture? The ODPP is sending a message. They want to show they are serious about narcotics offenses. They want to safeguard public safety. But at what cost? For John Burugu, the cost is either 2.2 million shillings or 2,190 days in a cell. That's the math of this conviction. The debate is now yours. Do you think this sentence is fair? Is a fine of 2.2 million shillings an effective way to combat drug cultivation? Or is it too severe? Drop your take in the comments below. Let us know if this is justice served or a penalty that doesn't fit the crime. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more breaking news and deep dives into the stories that matter.